Welcome back to our Lions Walk. It's episode 27. Ben says top six now, please. Adam says Condell is a baller. Of course, reviewing that QPR result. Is the playoffs back on now for Millwall? We're also talking about the brilliance of Condell, our February fixtures, what's more to come this month, and rewarding the January Player of the Month, Unsung, who hasn't had enough flowers. We're also completing our worst ever Millwall 11 with Charlie and with your help. Thank you very much for joining us. We've got Charlie back with us, fresh back from watching Millwall out football QPR, I think it's fair to say. Charlie, did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, honestly, I think it was some of the best football we've played in a long, long time. I think we did look... We had what we've been lacking for so long, which was quality. We actually played good football against QPR, and we were the better side, which I can't remember the last time we were a better side than someone. So it was good to watch.
It was a stunning game. Well, a stunning game if you're a Millwall fan. But yeah, it's because you've been attritional, haven't you? Let's be fair. You've been unfairly touted to play direct football, even when you weren't. But yeah, to say that you've got some, you bought really well in the transfer window, haven't you? From early all accounts.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been shocked. I think a lot of people were sort of early in the window. We were all getting a little bit touchy, especially with SA going, and then it went a bit quiet for about a week. There wasn't really anything after that, so everyone was getting a bit nervous. And then just the last week, it showed how quickly football can change, because we went from staring at possibly relegation to bringing in now, I think it's 6 permanent transfers as of now. I think maybe 7 as recording this. I think Lovelace is on his way back. And we're staring up to the playoffs, and it's all young players have come in as well. So obviously that's the ball trying to get their selling on sort of mindset in. But we brought in players with some experience as well, like Condell's played 2 championship seasons. It's good.
Yeah, good. We're recording this before the transfer window closes, so any last-minute stuff we won't be able to comment on, but we'll certainly next week do that and review all the new faces then. Let's get some social media takes from the QPR game. Fred says, 3 on the bounce. Thank you very much. Kramer, Connolly and Condell were unbelievable today. Some of the football being played was great to see. And furthermore, Tanganga is on another level. He's the best centre-back we've ever had. Let's get your views on some of those. First of all, Connolly and Kramer and Condell will come on to in a minute. But who stood out for you in that QPR victory?
Yeah, I mean, Connolly, I think when he was announced as coming in, we saw him as like the Bradshaw replacement, and people we were quite pessimistic with his signing. I think we all thought it was just another sort of carry on that we brought in. But he's actually been one of our best players last 2 games. We've seen the Connolly that we hoped we were going to see. He took his goal very well within the first 30 seconds. Another great performance from him. It was very good to see.
What about Kramer as well. So, what about Tanganga? This comment about being the best centre back you've ever seen, is that too much of a superlative?
Well, to be honest, I think I'm only 20, but he's the best centre back I've seen. So obviously, I think there might be older Millwall fans who can argue they've seen better, but Tanganga is definitely a class above most of the centre backs I've ever seen at Millwall.
Yeah. Okay. Want to ask you about the goalkeeper as well, because we don't talk too much about Jensen, but there was a really important save towards the end there to deny Sam Field, just point blank as well, which was going through a crowd of bodies. And we haven't spoken too much about him in this season, but there are moments in some games, Charlie, where you just need a good goalkeeper, don't you, to just pull you out the mire. And Jensen seems to be doing that more and more often. How good has he been?
Yeah, I think a lot of Millwall fans were sort of clouded at his first few performances early in the season. He made a few sort of he was jumping out for corners and just missing the ball, and we all started to get a little bit nervous with him. But as the season's progressed, he's shown he's a quality shot stopper. I mean, he won the Golden Glove at Leyton Orient last year, so we knew he had that sort of player in him. And now we're seeing he's making saves that are keeping us in games. Obviously, he was injured for the Portsmouth game, and Roberts had a really good performance. but people were calling for him to maybe get a chance of going in number one, which surprised me, I have to say, because I've been really impressed with Jensen the last few games. I think one thing I like about him is that how he smothers the ball. He's such a big target, and he can sweep up a opposition attack and just end it like that. And he pulled off, that save at the end of the game was very, the reactions are very good. So he's developing into a really good goalkeeper. Yeah, he's quite old fashioned one. He's not really like a tiki taka goalkeeper. He stops the ball from going in the net, and that's what we need.
We've got to talk about Kundal. If you saw Kundal play on Saturday and you were there and you thought you were just blown away by his performance, just drop us a quick like now to see how many people can agree with that. Because he's a bit. I think he's a bit of a misunderstood player, Kundal, because he has obviously had a few clubs now, but he is a player who won't shirk away from a tackle, and I think he's got a great. He's got a great eye for when a pass is on or when a pass isn't, and actually he's a threat as well, isn't he? How impressed were you with his performance?
Yeah, I mean, we've been given Honeyman as our creative midfielder for the last 2 seasons, so we could say it's almost like rose-tinted glasses. We're seeing something that a player that can actually find them passes, and it's blown us away. But I do think he is actually quite a little special find for us, only $1 million as well. And his link-up play on Saturday is what I think we've been missing for ages. He played a lot of little intricate 1-2s, it was really good. I think it's very promising from him. I think, as you said, he surprised people because he seems as quite a small, lightweight player. But I think he might have that little bit of tenacity about him that he needs to be a Millwall player and he can put his foot in. So, I like it.
So then, are the playoffs back on? Because every week we have whoever's in fifth losing. 2 weeks ago we had Blackburn losing. This week we had West Brom losing. Is there a glimmer of a chance that Millwall could just squeak into 6?
Yeah, well, I mean, as I said earlier, it's mad we're talking about it because last week we were staring at relegation. So,
that's right.
But
but I think our video 3 weeks ago was saying how worried should we be, and now
exactly.
we're going to tell about playoffs.
It shows how brilliant the Championship is, really. But we're 4 points off at the moment, which is really good space to be in, not where I thought we'd be, definitely. And I think really it comes down to our next 2 results. I think if we manage to beat Plymouth at their ground, which is going to be tough because they've recently picked up a bit of form, that West Brom game then becomes a massive game in our season because it could see us right in there. And so I think depending on our next couple of results, could see us sneaking in there maybe. But that's we're hoping. So it'll be good to see.
Okay, we'll have a look at your fixtures in a second. Before we do that, let's just focus on the latest news. So Baker is a Lion. This was reported by the club earlier today on transfer deadline day. First of all, what's Benicio gonna bring you? What do we know about him?
Well, to be honest, I can't say I've watched loads of him, but I have done my research on him, seeing him as he's coming to the club. And by the looks of it, he's a very fast player. He takes the ball, he dribbles well, and I think that's what he'll bring to our front line, a bit of pace, which I think sometimes we do call out for. He's very young as well. He's come through. I watched an interview with him earlier. He's friends with SA. So he said he spoke to him before the deal, which was a big factor into him coming. So I think he sees the pathway that's there for him at the club. I think he could be a player to look out for. We've paid, I think it was like $700,000 or something like that for him. So I think it's a signing for the first team, and hopefully he can bring that pace that we need to the front line.
Yeah, absolutely. And Millwall developing youth again. Long may that continue. Absolutely great. Right, shall we have a look at the fixtures then, as we promised? First of all, this FA Cup game this weekend. I mean, Leeds have just battered Cardiff 7. Could you honestly care less about it?
Well, I'd like to see us go on a little cut from, but I mean, considering we are, as I said, 4 points off the playoffs, it could do us a favour going out at the weekend, but I think it would be good to keep the momentum at the same time that we're on at the moment. Maybe I don't know if Leeds are looking to start a strong lineup or if they'll start like their second team, which is still obviously a really good side. But I'm not too concerned about it, but I'll be happy if we go through at the same time. So.
Okay. And then we've got 4 Championship games now. 3 of these are away from home. Charlie, you've only actually got West Brom at home in a fortnight's time, with trips to Plymouth, Preston, and Derby. So, of those 4 games there, how many points do you suspect will be needed to maintain the charge? Or not needed, because you want all 12. But how many do you suspect you'll get?
Yeah, I'd say I'd be looking for at least 7 there. I think at least 2 wins, definitely. Because, as you say, if we're looking to keep this run into the playoffs, we've got to be unlike the teams around us, not make any mistakes. But it's on paper, there's not really too many challenging games there, really. But I think they're hard games to predict, especially games like Derby and Preston. They can be the game where we go there and it's a 0-0 draw and it's a boring game, and especially with the 12:30 kickoff and a Nike game. So I think the 2 most important games are our next 2. A win at Plymouth puts us right up there, and then it gives a giant game against QPR at the Den, which will benefit us. So yeah.
Absolutely. Right. Before we get to the end of the video, can you let us know in the comments who the worst midfielder Millwall ever signed was? We'll get to Charlie's in a second, but come on, let us know who have you watched at the Den that you must have thought won a raffle to be there. Charlie, let's go back to January though. We need a player of the month for January. Not the official one which the club chooses, but one that you think has become a little bit unnoticed, one that needs a little bit more recognition. Who'd you gone with this month?
I think there's a few we could go for this month. I think the main standout one for me would be Casper De Norre. I think he's been exceptional in our games. As you said, like a sort of unsung hero. I think people have obviously noticed he's playing well, but I think if you were to ask every Millwall fan, I think their standout one would be Tanganga. But as an unsung hero, I'd go with De Norre, because I think the work he does in the middle of the pitch, the amount of tackles and interception he makes per game is, I think it's the best in the Championship. I think he's got something like, I've read 52 interceptions this season or something like that. And that's a massive part for our game, getting that ball back in the middle of the field and playing it forward. Yeah, I think he's been our best player this month.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much for that. Let us know if you disagree with it. Right then, let's get into this worst ever Millwall side. We've done goalkeepers, we've done strikers, defenders. Let's now stick some midfielders. And have you got any names for us this week, Charlie?
I think one midfielder I'd go for would be Ryan Woods. He was at Millwall mainly during the COVID period. And I think he was lucky he was there during the COVID period, because he would have got a lot of stick otherwise. He was I don't even know how to describe how he was at Millwall. He was a very negative player. I think he was one of Rowett's mates. But yeah, he's one that comes to mind. And I think if I was to pick another, I'd go for Yuri Skalak. He was wing on loan for. I think we got him from Brighton, so hopefully Baker's better than him. I can't remember. I think he scored maybe 1 goal, and he was awful.
Okay. 2 good shouts there. Let us know again in the comments below. Thank you very much, Charlie. Going solo this week. We'll hopefully have our team back to support you next week. And if you fancy being a podcaster and coming on and giving your views on Millwall, then do drop us an email. I'll just put the email on the screen. On the screen now, they are admin@theterrorstock.com to become a reviewer. Come and join Charlie and, of course, all our team on Where Lions Walk. Thank you very much, of course, for watching. We massively appreciate all the love and the comments we get every single week. Enjoy the FA Cup game against Leeds if you can, and we'll see you the other side of it in 7 days' time to review it all. Thank you very much for watching.